Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's try. Actually yesterday was the appearance day of Gadadhara Pandit. So today, rather than Srimad Bhagavatam, we have something to read about Gadadhara Pandit. And since we're not chanting any verses today, and we can sing a song. It was in Lord Chaitanya and his associates. Namaste Sankirtan. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita. Sri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Hechai Gosai Kori Charana Vandan Shaha Hoite Bigna Nash Abhishta Puran. Hechai Gosai Jai Mui Taradas Tasavara Paramenu Mora Panchagras. Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanebas Janame Hoy E Abhilash. Echai Gosai Jave Prachi Koilavas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Karila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Majayaman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Kori Ash Narottama Dasa Kohi Nama Sankirtan. O Lord Hari, O Lord Krishna, I offer my obeisances to you, who are known as Hari, Yadava, Madhava, and Keshava. O Gopal, Govinda, Ram, Sri Madhusudana, Gadadhara, Gopinath, and Madan Mohan. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Nityananda, all glories to Sri Advaita Acharya and his consort Sri Sita Thakurani. All glories to Lord Hari, to the spiritual master, to the Vaishnavas, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. All glories to Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Raghunath Jiva Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Das Goswami. I offer my obeisances to the feet of these 6 Goswamis. Bowing to them destroys all obstacles to devotional service and fulfills all spiritual desires. I am the servant of that person who is a servant of these 6 Goswamis. The dust of their lotus feet is my 5 kinds of foods. This is my desire, that birth after birth I may live with those devotees who serve the lotus feet of these 6 Goswamis. When these 6 Goswamis lived in Braja, they revealed the lost holy places and explained the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Just shout the names of Lord Hari in great ecstasy and worship the transcendental realm of Vrindavan, while absorbing your mind in meditation upon the divine feet of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. Desiring to serve the lotus feet of Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, Narottama Das sings this Sankirtan of the holy names of Lord Hari. Okay, so we're reading some biography or biographies about Sri Gadadhara Pandit. Sri Gadadhar was the constant companion of Mahaprabhu from the time of their childhood. His father's name was Sri Madhva Misra, and his mother's name Sri Ratnavati Devi. They lived very near the house of Sri Jagannath Mishra in Mayapur. Ratnavati Devi thought of Sachi Devi as her own sister and always used to visit her. During their childhood, Sri Gora Hari and Gadadhar would play together, sometimes at Mahaprabhu's house and sometimes at Gadadhar's house. They both studied together at the same school. Gadadhar was a few years younger than Nimai. Nimai couldn't remain without Gadadhar even for a moment, and Gadadhar likewise couldn't stand to be separated from Nimai. During their childhood, in the Gaura Ganadash Deepika, it is described that that person who in Braja was the daughter of Sri Vrishabhanu Raj, namely Srimati Radharani, is now celebrated as Sri Gadadhara Pandit. Srila Swarup Damodar has written in his diary, Avanti Sura Bhava Sri Pandit Kayo Jatindra Sakalo Ravati Radha Srila Gora Avataro. There's no translation to that.
Srila Swarupa Damodara писал в своем дневнике: Бхавани Сура Бхава Шри Пандитакьо Джатиндра Сакхало Бхавати Радха Срила Гаураватара.
Okay, so apparently this is something that was written down by Swarup Damodar. So now we have something written by Sri Vasudev Ghosh Thakur. Agam Gochar Gora Akil Brahma Par Veda Apar Upar Najane Pasande Mati Gora Nitya Nityananda Chaitanya Govinda Pandit Gadadhar Radhe Chaitanya Chula Rupa Tibor Raser Rup Avatar Sadashiva Sade Antare Navadana Mahire Gora Tanu Jugala Rupa Karkashe Kahe Vasudeva Ghosh Yugal Bhajan Ase Janame Rahu Asa. Lord Gaura Sundar, quote, Lord Gaura Sundar, who is beyond the purview of the scriptures, beyond the entire Brahman, and beyond the Vedas, can never be known by the atheist whose intelligence is dull. Lord Nityananda is his eternal self. Lord Chaitanya is Lord Govinda himself, and Pandit Gadadhar is none other than Sri Radha, the divine couple who are present in Sri Chaitanya, are as well. Oh, sorry, I'm not too far. Translate that first part.
Лорд Господь Лорд Сундара, что он находится выше Писания, выше вечного Брамана и даже выше век, никогда не был известен как атеист. Никогда не был известен атеистом, чей разум является очень слабым.
The divine couple who are present in Sri Chaitanya the divine couple who are present in Sri Chaitanya are a well of rasa.
Божественная чита, кто представлен в сочетании, является также и расой.
The divine couple who are present in Sri Chaitanya, Advaita Acharya Sadashiva has prayed for his descent.
Advaita Acharya Sadashiva молился, чтобы он сошел, не шел.
Within he is blackish, but of golden hue, without the manifestation of the divine couple.
Внутри он является темным, но золотым снаружи. Проявление божественной пары.
Thus Vasudeva Ghosh sings of the beauty of this divine couple, Sri Gaura Gadadhar, in whose worship he has been completely subjugated.
Vasudeva Ghosh воспевает красоту этой божественной цепи, Шри Гаура Гададхара. Поклонение кому было полностью бесчисленным.
He prays that he will desire to serve them birth after birth.
Он молит, чтобы он желал служить рождение.
Okay, in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita we likewise find, let me just skip the Sanskrit or Bengali and just go on, otherwise we won't cover very much here. So we'll go down to the emotions and expressions of Pandit Gadadhar are not possible to describe. Who can understand what mercy has been bestowed upon him? Their glories are sung by everyone as Gadai Gauranga. During the time when Sri Ishwara Puri was present for a few months in Navadvip, at the house of Sri Gopinathacharya, he taught Gadadhar from the book he had composed, Sri Krishna Lilamrita. Gadadhar was from the very childhood very serene, patient, calm, quiet, fond of solitude, and very renounced. Gadadhara Pandit, during the time of his precocious youth, would ask his fellow students meaningless, fallacious questions in logic. You understand? Lord Chaitanya he would ask, he'd make up questions that were not true questions, without logic. Fallacious means false.
Fallacious means false.
Yeah. Yeah. So he would tease the others like that, asking them questions that there actually were no answers to. Okay. So Gadadhar, however, was not especially fond of this pastime, and therefore he sometimes used to remain at some distance from Nimai. But Nimai wouldn't allow him to get away. He would tell him that Gadadhar in a very short time I'll become such a Vaishnava that Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva themselves will come to my door. Sri Gadadhara Pandit was very affectionate towards Mukunda Datta. Whenever any Vaishnava came to Navadvip, Mukunda would inform Gadadhar, and they would both go to have darshan. One time, darshan. One time, Pundarik Vijayanidhi came from Katagram to Navadvip, and Mukunda visited Gadadhar. Mukunda invited Gadadhar to come along and meet him. Gadadhara was very excited to meet such a Vaishnava, and thus the two of them happily set out together to take advantage of sadhu sangha with the famous Pundarik Vijayanidhi.
Гададхар был очень радостный встретить такого Вайшнава, и таким образом они вместе счастливо отправились в это путешествие через Садхусангу с знаменитым Pundarika.
However, when Gadadhar saw that Pundarik Vijayanidhi dressed and acted like a wealthy materialist, he lost whatever reverence he had previously felt, even before speaking with him.
Однако, когда Гададхар увидел Pundarika Vijayanidhi, одетого действующего подобно богатому материалисту, он утратил какое-либо почтение который имел прежде, и почувствовал даже, что он напрасно разговаривал с ним.
Gadadhar thought to himself, quote, "How can a Vaishnava look and act as if he were so addicted to sense enjoyment?"
Гададхара подумал сам себе, как может Вайшнав выглядеть и действовать, как будто он был привязан к таким наслаждениям.
However, Mukunda knew the real character of Pundarik Vijayanidhi, and he could also sense the doubts in the mind of Gadadhara Pandit.
Однако Мукунда знал настоящий характер Pundarika Vijayanidhi, и он бы также почувствовал сомнение в уме, и он также почувствовал сомнение в уме, что Гададхара Pandit.
Thus he recited some shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam in a very sweet voice.
Поэтому он процитировал несколько шлок из Шримад Бхагаватам в очень сладком голосе.
When Pundarik Vijayanidhi heard his beautiful recitation of these shlokas, in a fit of ecstasy, he began to cry while calling Krishna, Krishna, and finally fainted dead away on the floor.
Когда Pundarika Vijayanidhi услышал эти красивые слова из Шримад Бхагаватам, несколько шлок, он упал в экстазе и начал плакать, взывая Кришна, Кришна, и в конце концов упал замертво на пол. Он так не замертво, он так мертвый упал.
Okay, so that is from the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya 7.78 to 79.
Эта история с Чайтаньей Бхагаватом, Мадхя 7.80.
Gadadhar now felt very remorseful in his mind. He thought to himself, because I have ignorantly considered a highly advanced soul to be an ordinary materialist, what an offense I have committed.
Гададхара почувствовал что-то в уме. Он подумал о себе, потому что у меня есть невежество, я посчитал такую продвинутую душу, как обычно, я посчитал его обычным материалистом. Такое оскорбление я совершил.
In order that I might be saved from the reaction of this offense, I think the only solution is to accept initiation from him.
Поэтому, чтобы я мог избавиться от реакции этого оскорбления, я думаю, единственное решение — принять инициацию.
Gadadhara Pandit submitted his proposal to Mukunda, who presented it to Pundarik Vijayanidhi with a full account of the Pandit's high qualifications.
Гададхара Пандит представил это предложение Мукунде, а он представил его Pundarika Vijayanidhi, полный контроль выдавать его высоким квалификациям.
Hearing this proposal, Pundarik became very happy.
Услышав это предложение, Пундарик стал очень счастлив.
Providence has bestowed upon me a great jewel. Certainly I will accept him.
Провидение пролило на меня великий драгоценный камень. Определенно я приму его.
You shouldn't have any doubt about that. It is the result of many lifetimes of good fortune that one gets a disciple like this.
Ты не должен иметь никаких сомнений относительно этого. Это результат множества жизней, хорошего и великого блага, что он получил, что он получает ученика подобного себе.
So this is for the Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Lila 7.117 and verses 117 to 118.
Читание Бхагавата, Матхи Лила, 7:18-118.
On an auspicious day, Sri Gadadhara Pandit received the divine mantra from Pundarik Vidyanidhi.
Так, таким образом, в один благоприятный день Гададхара Пандит получил божественную мантру от Кришны.
You understand that this pastime that we just read?
Вы поняли эту книгу, которую мы прочитали?
Also asking you also. No? Yeah, so they went to visit Pundarik Vidyanidhi in his home, and so usually the Vaishnavas would live very simply, dress simple cloth, no furniture, a few clothes like that. So. But the Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he was sitting on a very fancy bed with nice covers on it.
Однако Пундарик Видянидхи сидел в очень роскошной кровати с красивым покрывалом.
He was wearing very fancy, expensive clothes that a materialist would wear, not a Vaishnava. Like that, and so Gadadhara Pandit had heard about Pundarik Vidyanidhi, a great Vaishnava. He saw him like this. He's thinking, this is just a materialist. So that's when Mukunda, who knew Pundarik Vidyanidhi, that's when he spoke some words about Krishna, and immediately he just went into complete ecstasy. So in reality, when Pundarik Vidyanidhi was acting in that way, because although he was very advanced, he didn't want everyone coming glorifying him and appreciating him as a Vaishnava. He was internally he was Vaishnava, and externally he was showing he was as though he was a materialist, so people would not bother him.
чтение постоянно, поэтому он иногда выглядел как на телевизоре, или его несколько узнавал.
So he just didn't want to, just simply didn't want to be bothered by everyone coming in, bowing down and glorifying him and everything. He had no interest in those things, but internally he was a great devotee of the Lord.
То есть, да, он не был заинтересован внешне, чтобы люди приходили, постоянно открывали, прославляли, постоянно. Он был вот видел духовным преданным, но внешне старался не обращать внимания.
Okay. I'm going fast. Let's just read a little bit more and this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, upon going to Gayadham, first began to manifest Krishna Prema. There, go ahead.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, когда он посетил Гайадхам, первый он начал проявить Кришна Прему.
There he enacted the pastime of accepting the shelter of Sri Ishwara Puri.
Там принял прибежище Ishwara Puri.
He began to exhibit a new life.
Он вернулся домой и начал проявлять новую жизнь.
So Gaya in India, it's people go there to perform like Shraddha ceremonies, do certain ceremony or sacrifice for the forefathers who have passed away, and they want to do something good for them.
Оно самое такое место, которое сравнимо с церемонией Шрадха, которое проводят по
So, let's go on a little bit more. Day and night he floated in the ocean of love of Krishna. Gadadhara, upon seeing the Lord showering tears in love for Krishna, also began to cry in ecstatic love. From this time, Gadadhara Pandit was also at Mahaprabhu's side. Okay. Let me finish this page anyway. One day, Sri Gadadhar brought some pan to Sri Gauranga, who, in an exuberance of emotion, asked him, Gadadhar, where is that beautiful blackish boy who is dressed in yellow garments? The first line in the paragraph. Yeah, Lord Chaitanya is thinking, he's in ecstasy, so he's asking Gadadhar, where is that beautiful blackish boy? He's talking about Krishna. After asking this, he began to shed tears. Gadadhar couldn't immediately think of what to say. He finally respectfully suggested, he is in your heart. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu began to tear at his chest with his nails, but Gadadhar quickly grabbed his hands. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu began to tear at his chest with his nails, but Gadadhar quickly grabbed his hand. Prabhu said to him, Gadadhar, let go of my hands. I cannot remain a moment more without seeing Krishna. I'm saying the scene. Lord Chaitanya is crying in ecstasy, thinking, where is Krishna? Gadadhar says, Krishna is in your heart. So Lord Chaitanya is trying to open his chest to get to see Krishna in his heart. So he's telling, and Gadadhar is trying to protect him. So he's saying, he's holding Lord Chaitanya's hands, and Lord Chaitanya is saying, let go of my hands. I have to see Krishna. Gadadhar replied, just try to be a little patient and calm yourself. Krishna will come any minute now. Hearing this, Mahaprabhu became somewhat composed. Sachimata heard all this from a distance and then came running there. Being very pleased with Gadadhar, she declared, though he is just a boy, he is very intelligent. I am very frightened to go before my son when he is in these moods, but Gadadhar has very cleverly pacified him. Afraid, fearful. Okay.
Я боялась прийти сюда и увидеть моего сына, когда он в таком настроении. Но Гададхара очень заботливо успокоил.
Satyavata told Gadadhar, you must please remain with Nimai always. If you stay with him, then I don't have to worry.
Сачимата сказала Гададхара, ты должен, пожалуйста, оставаться с Нимаем всегда. Если ты останешься, если ты будешь с ним всегда, то я тоже не буду беспокоиться.
One day, Shri Gadadhar, having heard that Mahaprabhu will speak Krishna Katha at Shuklambar Brahmachari's house, went there and sat down inside.
Однажды Шри Гададхара, слушая, как Махапрабху говорил о Кришне Катху в Шукламбаре Брахмачари доме, пришел и сел внутри.
Meanwhile, Mahaprabhu arrived outside on the veranda and began to speak about Krishna to an audience of devotees there.
Тем временем Махапрабху вышел наружу, на веранду и начал рассказывать о Кришне аудитории преданных, которые были там.
Gadadhara Prabhu listened from within the house.
Гададхара Пандит слышал это сидя в доме.
Soon Mahaprabhu became totally absorbed in ecstasy, Krishna prema, which quickly spread to the assembly of devotees.
Вскоре Махапрабху стал полностью поглощенным страст Кришна Премы, которая немедленно распространилась на все сообщество преданных. For some time they continued to taste the mellows of love of Krishna together and then becalmed themselves. Некоторое время они продолжали ощущать нектар любви к Кришне вместе, и тогда и так продолжали ощущать.
Okay, let's read this last paragraph. Gadadhar, however, couldn't restrain his ecstasy.
Однако Гададхар не мог
He couldn't hide the symptoms of ecstasy.
Однако Гададхар не мог ощущать полностью экстаз.
With his head bowed down, he continued to cry very loudly.
Он опустил свою голову вниз и продолжал плакать громко.
Hearing his pitiful sobbing, crying, Mahaprabhu inquired who was crying within the room.
Услышав этот плач, Махапрабху спросил, кто плачет там в комнате?
Shuklambar Brahmachari replied, "Your Gadadhar."
Шукламбара Брахмачарья ответил, кто Гададхара?
I'd like to go on, but I know it's the time. So maybe we can continue tomorrow. Okay, so we'll end here for today. Time is finished. And this is such a nice narration here. We can go for another day and at least read some more of it. So we'll end here for today. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.